In this video, we're going to talk about how to create a hybrid build and buy model for delivering internal industrial data solutions. So let's first look at a structure of a industrial data solution. Let's say the solution's purpose is to optimize asset productivity. What that means is that you wanted to monitor expensive, important industrial assets, which are typically located at the edge in your plants or in your rigs, and you collect data on the assets using internal machine data or sensor data through a computing device on site. And then you often send cleaned and high quality data to be stored in a data warehouse, which could be on site or it could be in the cloud. Then you have another set of data engine computing capability to process that data, create real-time alerts, interact with the dashboards, and delivering analytics and actions for the operational teams. And let's say that typically you have many sites that where the solution needs to be deployed. And within each site, you have many assets that you're monitoring, you're analyzing, and very often the data connectivity is not super reliable. So you need a very good solution to deliver all the data capabilities to all the different sites and ensuring reliable operations despite unreliable connectivity. So when companies are building this type of solutions, especially when companies are enterprise companies, there's always a build versus buy process. So should we build or should we buy? Now, it's pretty clear the trade-off between build versus buy. In the case of build, you have much better internal control. You can create unique features to enable competitive advantage. And as you scale up over time, usually it results in lower cost. Now, the advantages of buy includes things such as, well, the solutions are already out there. So all you need is to take it in. That enables very fast adoption. And because you're buying from a vendor which has been building their solution for many years, they typically can provide better features, even though these features are given to everybody, but they are very good features to begin with. And typically, it's more economic if you don't have very large scale. It would be much cheaper to buy versus building your internal team. So then, should you build or should you buy? The way that we look at it is basically one question. The solutions that you're looking at, do they build competitive advantage for you? If they do, then they're important enough and you want to bring them in-house because that can put you ahead of your competitors. And if it's something that you just want to use, you don't care if your competitors are using the same solution, then buying is actually a much simpler process. So a lot of digital solutions obviously falls into the competitive advantage space. This is because every company sees digital transformation, digital products as a enabler for their existing products, for their internal processes. They wanted to build competitive advantage using this digital capability. If that's the case, then building is the right answer, the long-term answer. But this is not very easy. We work with many enterprise companies, and we see many challenges in the building process. Obviously, the first one is that you are always not going to have enough resources. you're going to have a small team that's very capable, and you often do not have enough expertise. Even if you could hire, say, a large outsourcing team, a lot of outsourcing teams don't have the expertise to give you that very, very high performance, high quality solution. So we see many companies struggle with that. And the other important thing we see is that many companies struggle with understanding what are the values of these digital solutions. Companies understand that digital solutions give them visibility, but how do you translate visibility into value, in particular into business value that can be converted into value you can capture from your customers or from internal processes? That's actually a very, very difficult thing to do. And therefore, because of these reasons, a lot of enterprise companies, even some of the largest enterprise companies, still cannot support their external customer needs or internal business unit needs fast enough at high quality. And this is why, at least in our case, we're able to work with very large companies to medium-sized enterprise companies, helping them to get through this process. So why is this so hard? We're going to just spend a minute explaining some of the technical challenges here. So on the edge side, for example, you may think this is pretty easy to get some data, send it up, build a dashboard, visualize it. It's pretty easy to do a demo solution, but it is very hard actually to build a very reliable solution that can scale. Many companies have this problem. This is because there are so many technologies they have to deal with, so many technologies they have to bring to maturity so that they can be reliable, they can be scalable. That process is very, very hard. So getting to 80% is not that hard. The last 20% is extremely hard. This is hard on the edge side because of the embedded nature of the OS there, and also the variety of the industrial protocols, networking protocols you have to deal with. So this requires skills not only in software, but also in networking, in industrial systems, in reducing data consumption, through a lot of different communication protocols, how to work with high speed, real-time data, etc. So you can see how many different type of technologies involved, and that makes it hard. In the cloud side, people have a much better understanding of cloud today, but even with that, working with data warehouses is hard. This is because there's so much data today in data warehouses. Processing that data at very high volume and or at very high speed is challenging. In our case, for example, we've broken InfluxDB multiple times. We've broken the native connectors of Snowflake multiple times. And then we have to go in to understand why, how to optimize the process, how to remove the unreliable issues, and finally get to a point where we can scale the solutions. That's not easy at all, actually. It's easy to read a couple tags. If you're reading 100,000 tags, all streaming at 1 second per tag, it becomes very, very hard. Similarly, on the visualization side, drag and drop a few visualization panels into something like Grafana is very easy. But if you have to do very specific things, accomplishing specific tasks, or if you have to do interactive things like you want a form in Grafana, you want a button in Grafana, all of a sudden it becomes pretty hard to do. For example, Grafana is actually very bad for querying because every panel in Grafana queries independently. This means that query cost can be very, very high. So how do you minimize that? All those are issues that becomes very hard after the initial demo. And therefore, if you do not have those expertise, it can take a long time to acquire those expertise to build the right solutions. So this is why we think a hybrid build and buy model is the right model for many companies out there today. And what do we mean by that? It means that you work alongside an experienced external vendor, right? And so in order to do that, you wanted to make sure some things work in the right ways. So the first is that the technology stack that you use internally needs to align with the technology stack that the vendor uses, so that once you take it over in the future, because it's the same technology stack, your internal team can continue to work on it. And if that aligns, then you can leverage on the external vendor's expertise to build solutions very quickly, especially at the early stage. It's very important to get the solutions out to the market, whether it's external customers or internal users, because you want that feedback from your users. That is the value discovery process. You wanted to discover the best, the maximum value from your users so that you can eventually capture that value from your users. And this is not something every technology company knows how to do. This is something that also comes from a lot of experience from basically, doing this over and over again. So you need to find external vendors who can do that. Finally, the external vendors needs to continue to be able to help you. This is because most technology solutions do not stop. They always need to get better. They always need to evolve, and additional projects will be created from the initial project if the initial project is successful. And your team will be limited in bandwidth. And therefore, having an external vendor who can be there for you, who can help you to take over projects when you need to, is very, very important. So in this slide, we're going to talk about how we work. Obviously, this is self-promotion, but we believe that we have the right process, and we wanted to share that with everybody. So the first thing is we use a technology stack that's built on open core ecosystems like Node-RED, Grafana, InfluxDB. Why is this important? Number one, a lot of enterprise customers that we work with, they are using these tools, and these tools are growing within their organizations. Therefore, it's very easy in the future for them to take over projects, and also it's very easy for them to learn from us how to build these things into high quality solutions if it's the same set of technology stack. Another one, obviously, is that it prevents locking, right? Because these tools are open core, and you won't be locked into a particular vendor's proprietary technology. And the next thing is that we're very experienced. We've been doing this for years, from Fortune 500 type of customers to mid-sized customers, and we've accumulated a lot of experience, a lot of ways to build very high quality, very high impact solutions within 1 month or 2 months, something that typically can take 6 months to 12 months for your internal team to do. We can do it much, much faster. So initially, we think it's very important to create solutions fast, to get feedback from the market. That's another thing that we have a lot of experience with. How do we do the value discovery part? How do we understand what's the most valuable parts of the solution, understand, how to basically build the business model for the solution. So we're not just a technology company, but we're almost like a strategic advisor to our clients as well. Now, because of the open technology stack we use, we can easily hand over the solutions to our customers, or Sometimes our customers ask us to continue to support them, and we're happy to do that. In particular, I think that if your internal solution has something that delivers a lot of value, for example, if you have a advanced AI process that can deliver very good outcomes from data, then it probably makes sense for your internal team to work on that AI. And it may make sense just to completely give the data pipeline, data engineering portion to us for us to manage. Because as we explained before, that data pipeline, data engineering solution requires a very different set of skills and a very broad set of skills. Therefore, it's actually very hard to do. But if your value is on the AI side, then why do you even do that, right? So that's what quite a number of our customers do. We take care of the data engineering data pipeline for them, but obviously it doesn't have to be the case. If you decide that you want to take over that internally, you have that option. So that's why we make it very flexible for you to make that decision of build and buy. And finally, we do serve as the extended team to many of our customers. I think for pretty much every customer we work with, we continue to work with them because once they see our speed, our quality, they trust us. They trust us to continue to help them with projects when they're band limited, which is almost always the case, right? So this is why we think the hybrid build and buy model is the right model for the majority of enterprise companies. By having that external vendor who's very experienced at doing this to help you, you can really speed up the process, but you can still maintain internal control of the solutions over time. And therefore, we think that's something you should consider. If you have any feedback, any thoughts on this, please let us know. We're happy to hear them. Thank you.